Chapter 12 of Fundamentals of Lean Process Improvement. This chapter is titled Systems for Eliminating Defects. We're going to start with the PowerPoint that is attached to on your Lessons tab. And actually this time I'm probably going to show you most of the slides because it's a pretty good PowerPoint. There are a couple of terms that are used: Jidoka, stopping the process, and Pokayoke, error-proofing for error-proofing the process. All right, well, the first thing that we want to be sure to understand is the difference between a mistake and a defect. So in the terminology, mistake is the failure of a planned action to be completed as intended, or the use of a wrong plan to achieve an aim. And the defect is the result. So the example is a mistake by not checking for drug interaction. The effect on the patient could be that they suffer an adverse reaction. So here, Jidoka, no mistake or defect is allowed. So it's 0 defects. And in order to make sure that there are 0 defects, there are a couple of visual things that could be done. This first one is an Andon cord, and the second is Andon Signals. So the cord, you can see he's pulling a cord. Now, as far as Andon Signals, they come in lots of ways. They're visual signals. They could be lights, green, yellow, red, or we'll see some examples here. So here you can see an example of what goes up or what is lighted depending on the situation. Now, a Pokayoke is any device that prevents a mistake from occurring. So these happen quite often now. I think things are being redesigned to make sure that doesn't happen. For example, I know my mom in the nursing home, when they give her pills, they're pre-wrapped. They're pre-packaged, so they can't accidentally pour too many out of a pill bottle. They're pre-wrapped. So what we're talking about here is mistake proofing, preventing mistakes from ever occurring. You detect the mistake before it becomes the defect. So we'll see some examples down here of it. But in order to define a mistake or defect, you take a look at when does it occur, when does it not occur, when does it take place, where was it detected, and you can get a lot of information to create your red flags. All right, so here's an example of mistake proofing. In this particular case, this little chamber with the blue lid is a measuring device. So when you squeeze it, the fluid goes up into that little area, and then you know you have the exact amount to pour. The iPod Shuffle stops playing music when the earphone is unplugged. I have an example for you. I have a riding lawnmower, and if I decide to kind of remove myself to pick up something from the ground, it shuts off because the seat has an automatic shut-off. It feels that there's no weight on it. Here are some other examples. This Linksys really wants you to run the CD before connecting the cables. To ensure you get the message, they place a label over the outlets where the cables are plugged, and it says run CD first. So I think that's pretty clever. And in this case, the faucet with a light sensor, the sensor ensures that the water is turned off. We have a lot of those now. Other devices, mostly for safety in this particular case, you'll see the pool safety, the smoke detector, designed so that they cannot be mounted on a wall until a battery is installed, and the stove burner turns off automatically when a pot or pan is removed. All right, here is, I think, an interesting one. I haven't seen this yet in a hospital, but mistake-proofing device for hand sanitizing before entering or leaving a hospital room. This little arm goes out and says, you know what, you can't go in, and as soon as you sanitize your hand, it goes up. And it's the same thing, similar to when you're stopping at a railroad track. All right, so those are great examples and the videos I have for you. Now, yes, we did talk about cycle time in an earlier chapter, but you'll see in this chapter we're going to delve into it further. So I have a couple of videos for you that will be helpful and a couple on the judoka and one on Pokayoke. So enjoy the videos, and then you will have the quiz and discussion questions again from this chapter. We are almost done. We have one more chapter, which is chapter 16, which should tie a lot of the things together. And then what you will have left is, of course, your quiz for the lesson for 9 through 12 and your final project.